Hey y'all, 2021 was the best year I've ever had as a full-time flow artist. I made a financial goal that I set for myself years ago, and that has a great deal of personal significance for me. To explain why, let's dive into my numbers. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain, and today I'm showing you how much this flow artist made last year. Why? Well, A, because I'm proud of making my goal, and B, to give you all out there a benchmark of what producing flow arts content can help you earn. Before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all of these amazing businesses and what they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I have down in the description of this video. And special thanks to non-business friends of the channel, Johnny Howard and Lain Mochinsky. Thank you both so very much for your support for my work and my mission. So, I had a good year, both in 2020 and in 2021. I've shared my numbers in years past, but took a break from it last year because it just didn't seem appropriate given the state of the world and how many people I knew were struggling. But I posted a poll to several of my content channels, and the overwhelming majority of people wanted me to share my numbers. Why would I hesitate in doing that? Well, so I have two big reasons to share them. The first is just to engage in transparency. A musician that I really respect named Zoe Keating does this every year, and it's really helpful to see how she, as an independent musician, structures her income. The second is to hopefully inspire others to try what I'm doing. I think we need more flow arts content creators out there in the world, and if showing that it can be done in a fashion that brings in a livable income helps, that might convince more people to give it a try. Of course, there's also the flip side of that. I don't make a huge amount of money, so seeing somebody that people think of as being really well established making only X amount of money per year might be a disincentive, depending upon their expectations. To say nothing of the fact that it also leaves me open and exposed to a lot of bad faith actors for whom money, or even operating a business in the flow arts in the first place, are things that they think shouldn't happen. So ultimately, I left this one up to my viewers, and they were curious. And here we are. 4 years ago, I set down a goal in my head. When I first moved to DC, the salary I was offered by the first nonprofit that I worked for was $40,000 a year. At the time, that felt like a pretty major accomplishment. It was the first time I'd ever had a job that had a salary rather than an hourly wage, and it was also the last time that I held anything that looked like a traditional job. There's a lot of stigma around being both self-employed as well as being a working artist. And I think in my mind, if I got back to the income that I had when I first moved to DC, it would kind of be a data point showing that the work that I was doing was real work. It put me on par with the last traditional job that I held. Of course, we are more than a decade later now, and there were other job opportunities I had even at that time that paid considerably more. But in my mind, it felt like a good benchmark to reach for. And over the course of the past 3 years, I managed to grow my business by between 15 to 20% each year to finally reach that goal in 2021. Heck yes. So how'd I manage to do it? Let's take a look at the numbers. Please note, I'm going to share some specifics, but not all. In some cases, I'm deliberately withholding specific numbers out of respect for the privacy of some of the companies that I work with. I'll cover each type of income in order from least to greatest amount. We're going to start off with the very unhelpful category of other, which is really just stuff that couldn't easily be fit into any other box. This includes consulting gigs or one-off sources of income that I wasn't expecting. There was one point in the year when Instagram started offering cash bonuses for making reels, and I totally forgot that I had enrolled in this until a couple $100 dropped into my PayPal from Facebook one day. All told, this other income only amounted to about $500 this year, but that was enough to put me over top of my goal. So, thank you, Random Windfalls. Next up is online courses. I'm happy to report that my income through online courses grew by $1,000 between 2020 and 2021. This was a particular type of income that I've been wanting to grow specifically because it scales easily, and I think the material is good. Between advertising pre-existing courses, launching new ones, and teaching live stream courses on building social media followings with my friend Nicole, online courses turned out to be nearly $3,000 of my income last year, or about 7.5% of my income. This is an income source that I want to try and grow in the coming year as well. Next up is a category that actually stayed more or less the same from 2020 to 2021. Affiliate earnings. For those of you who don't know how this works, I have several affiliate codes with several different companies. When I use their products in my content, I'll sometimes tell people to go use these codes when buying some of those same products. The company can see the code being used and know that I referred the buyer. Using the code gets the person a discount on their order, and I get a commission on the sale. So everybody wins. One quick note. There are a lot of companies out there that distribute affiliate codes to artists that they sponsor, and the only compensation they give is store credit. I don't accept deals like that, and I don't think anybody else ought to unless it's on a trial basis to demonstrate their conversion rate. That's not a sponsorship. You're advertising the company for free. Topic for another time, but I did want to stick a pin in it. Anyway, so affiliate income through a variety of different companies made up about $3,600 of my income last year, or 9% of it. There was a pretty steep decline in affiliate income towards the latter half of the year, and I don't know whether that's a me thing or whether it's a thing in general. Do you have affiliate codes through floor arts companies? How did they perform towards the end of last year? Did you also see a decline? Leave me a comment and let me know. Next up, by far the most lucrative new category of my income, and one that I had to retroactively go back and restructure my income spreadsheets to accommodate because it wound up being so important, and that's sponsored content. You've probably noted a variety of different sponsored videos I've done in the past couple years, from flow sessions to testing the fire safety of different materials, and even one video sponsored by one of my Patreon supporters simply because he wanted to watch me spin fire to a specific song. I do like the flow sessions because they're relatively easy to make. The majority of the work is simply finding a spot to shoot them in. Unlike my tutorials, they also tend to have a pretty short shelf life though, so I'll get a bunch of views and engagement up front, but they'll kind of fall off after a week or so and not have the same kind of long tail engagement that the tutorials do. And at the same time, they're pretty lucrative to make. It's not passive income, but it is still fun, so there's definitely a trade-off there. This year, sponsored content made up just over 14% of my income at roughly $5,700 for the past year. Needless to say, a huge factor in making my financial goal. Next up, AdSense earnings. Again, in case you're not familiar, AdSense is the system by which Google presents advertisements to people using their services, including Google Search, Gmail, and YouTube. It's entirely likely that you saw one or more pre-roll ads before this video started playing if you're watching it on YouTube. And it's also entirely possible that you'll get one or more mid-roll ads if the video is long enough too. YouTube shares ad revenue from these ads with creators who get a certain level of engagement and traffic. I've been able to earn money through those ads now for nearly a decade, and along with sponsorship revenue, it's become a dependable source of income that rolls in after the middle of the month. So how much did I earn through AdSense in 2021? About $6,800 or 17% of my income, which is kind of awesome because this grew by over 17% from 2020 and it wasn't something I was trying to grow this year. And now my final line item from my income in 2021, Patreon. Patreon is a voluntary subscription service by which fans of a content creator can sign up to give them a certain amount of money every month. It's kind of like an NPR pledge drive, but it happens on an ongoing basis. People can sign up at different reward tiers to get access to different services or ways of saying thank you for their support. It's been the bedrock of my income now for a few years running, and 2021 was no exception. In 2021, I made nearly $20,600 off of Patreon. That is 20% more than I made off of the platform in 2020, and it's just over 51% of my income for the year total. Wow. By now, at least a few of you are wondering, but what about performance income? I didn't have any, either of the past 2 years. That wasn't from lack of opportunity, it was from lack of interest. I've come to realize that I don't really enjoy performing very much, and I've sought to build a business that allows me not to have to perform in order to make a living. That's not a commentary on whether performance is a good or bad way to make an income. Just that it's not for me. I did a video explaining all my reasons for this, for those of you that are curious, that I'll link to in the description, as well as up in the cards if you're watching on YouTube. So with all that said, what are some lessons learned, some positives, and some negatives from this whole experience? One of the big ones is just reinforcing to me that building my income around online content and passive income streams was and continues to be a really good gamble on my part. Years ago, I had several people telling me that I was wasting my time doing so and that performing was both more a dependable and bigger source of income. Especially given the ups and downs in the gig economy during COVID times, I feel like I made a really good choice all those years ago. Also, I found a better way to do sponsored content than in years past. Usually I'd pitch a company on a series that would require a lot of preparation, consultation, time, and energy. Overall, the sponsored content I did this past year was much less intense to prepare and create. And that meant not only that I was happier producing it, but also that I could produce more of it. That's good both for my mental health as well as for my bottom line. At the same time, there are some things that I'm a little alarmed by. For one thing, I'm really dependent on just one platform. Most of my Patreon supporters sign up from viewing my YouTube videos, and that, coupled with AdSense, means that YouTube is more or less responsible for nearly 70% of my income. If the rules on the platform should change or I lost my channel for any reason, it would have a catastrophic impact on my income. Trying to diversify more has and will continue to be a major goal. I'm going to be spending a lot more time working on courses in 2022, both passive courses via my online learning platform as well as live stream ones. For one thing, they're platform agnostic, and for another, I'm more and more realizing just how limited social media platforms are for teaching flow arts. People get new information in piecemeal fashion rather than as a series of steps or guided exploration, and that tends to mean that they wind up with big gaps in their knowledge over time. I will also say, I think that this is the ceiling of what I can do as a one-man operation. As of right now, I do literally everything. Brainstorming, content planning, writing, shooting, editing, publishing, and promoting. And by the time I hit the last quarter of 2021, I was exhausted and burning out rapidly. I need to start outsourcing some of this work if I'm going to continue to grow, because otherwise, I will have a mental breakdown at some point. One final caveat for those of you watching at home. This is gross and not net income. I still need to do my numbers for business expenses for 2021, so I won't know for a little while yet just how much I actually made, but gross was the goal here, so that's what I'm sharing. And that, dear friends, is 2021 in a nutshell. Have you ever been curious about Patreon and its potential to support your creative work? I have a course where I share with you my best tips and tricks for getting started on Patreon and how you can use it to support your art. Even better, you can get half off the course by using the code BETA at checkout over at learn.drexfactor.com. Let 2022 be the year that you turn your creative pastime into a rewarding career. Did you get anything out of this video? Please leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe to help keep the conversation going and to help other people find my content. This video, and for that matter the subject matter that it covers, would not be possible were it not for the kind support of all of my wonderful supporters on Patreon, including these awesome folks right here who are signed up as my Flow patrons. They, along with the people listed down in the description, make this video and all the videos on this channel possible. If, like me, you would like to see more of the world learning the potential for their brains and their bodies by spinning poi, you can support me in that mission by heading on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and signing up. There you can get access to a host of awesome rewards like getting to see your name in the credits or getting a special poi lesson delivered to your inbox every week that is available only to my Patreon supporters. Go give that a look, and I hope you sign up. Thanks in advance. Do you have any questions about any of my line items or how I'm able to get them to where they are? Leave me a comment with your question and I'll answer to the best of my ability. Again, I want to respect the privacy of the companies that I work with while still being as transparent as I can be. In the meantime, I will leave a link to some other videos I've done on creating flow arts businesses down in the description, as well as up on screen if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll be back with a new video for you on Wednesday. Peace.